Leaders, in this video, I want to ask an almost impossible to answer question. How do you pastor a mob? Because that's what leadership feels like these days, right? You're leading a tribe that's suddenly so divided and so upset. You've got people who don't agree on anything. They don't agree on politics. They don't agree on vaccines. They don't agree on even whether a pandemic happened. They don't agree on, well, anything. And now you've got to lead them, and it's exceedingly difficult. How do you do that? And on the one hand, you might say, well, you can't carry, you can't pastor a mob. On the other hand, for all of us in leadership these days, that's kind of what we're doing, right? We're leading a very badly divided and fractious people. And so it's not easy, but I want to share 4 strategies I think can help. Strategy number 1 is expect less affirmation. Just expect less affirmation. You're just not going to get the kind of affirmation you're used to getting. I talked to Tim Keller recently in New York City, and Tim said, and I quote, "Not only is everybody tired, but nobody's getting any positive affirmation. Almost nobody's getting any pats on the back. So you're just running and running, trying to keep things together, and there are no hugs. Literally no hugs. We just can't live this way." And I think long term he's right, but in the meantime, that describes what we've been living through and probably prescribes what we're going to have for a little bit longer. So what do you do about it? Well, the question then becomes, yeah, okay, what else can I do? I would suggest filling your cup up elsewhere, because it's probably not going to happen in the leadership lane anytime soon. So maybe that's hanging out with a really good friend, and maybe it's building a better family life at home. Maybe it's finding a hobby or some life-giving pursuit you can do in your off hours, so that when you come back to work, when you come back to your job, you come back with your cup full so that you can serve. Because knowing that probably at work for a little while, it's going to be a bit draining, and that is not selfish, that is self-care. That is self-care. Okay, strategy number 2, be what you hope to see. Almost every leader I know is frustrated by the tone of conversation, of emails, social media, everything like that. Now, you set the tone as a leader, so be what you hope to see. If you want to see people being reasonable, be reasonable. And that's what I try to be. I always say to my team, like, I want to be a place where the good people on the internet hangs out. So then guess what? I got to be a good person. If I'm going down there, like getting mad at people and ranting, I'm setting the tone for my organization. So if you want people to be gracious and generous, then you be gracious and generous. Be what you hope to see. Strategy number 3, don't get sucked into the wormhole. I have opinions on a lot of things. I try not to share them, because the dialogue that we're having right now, I want to be constructive. I want to be a source of hope to you. I want to help you. Really, my mission, like, what are you focused on? My mission right now is to help leaders live in a way today that will help them thrive tomorrow. When I was a pastor for 20 years, it's still a personal mission. It was to lead people into a growing relationship. Focus on that, because all these other things are distractions. Now, once in a while, yeah, you need a public health policy and you need this or that, but that's a couple times a year, and you kind of set it and forget it and then get back to the main thing. Because if you look at a lot of social media feeds of pastors today, they've got an opinion on everything, every headline, every article, and you're losing credibility when you do that. So focusing on division brings greater division. Focusing on unity brings greater unity. And then number 4, and this one's really big, is ban the trolls and tune the rest out. So it's hard. I believe in free speech. I think that's important. People say, well, you can't block people because, free speech. Well, if I block someone from my platform, I am not banning them from the internet. I don't have that power. You don't have that power. What I'm saying is, you can't behave that way on my platform. And I like to think of my platform and your platform like a dinner party. So imagine you had someone over to your house. I have people over all the time, right? They don't have to vote the way I do. They don't have to agree with me on every issue. But if they start to punch me in the face and insult my wife and beat up on my children and break the dishes, I'm kicking them out and calling the police, or both, probably both, right? That's what I'm doing, all right? If you start punching me in my house, we're not gonna tolerate that. So when someone comes on your platform and they start punching you in the face and insulting your wife and kids and your spouse and kids, and they start breaking things, what do? You say, you can't do that here. That is not how we behave in this house. Now, if you wanna do that at your house, that's up to you, but you can't do it here, which is why it's so important to ban the trolls. That doesn't mean banning people who disagree with you. You can disagree without being disagreeable, but you got to ban the trolls. And then the other thing, even if you get them off your platform, Don't go down the wormhole where you're just chasing every opinion, every thought. You're reading all this negative stuff, because negative in, negative out. So those are some ideas. I've got more over at my blog at careynieuwhof.com. In the meantime, I produced something I would love for you to check out. It's called the Church Outreach Assessment. It's free. And if you want to reach more people and get out of this cycle of constant negativity and on to a more positive mission, I'd love to help you do that. You can go to churchoutreachassessment.com. You can take it absolutely for free. My friend Mark Clark and I have put together a free training series with that. So check it out, churchoutreachassessment.com. In the meantime, I'd love to hear from you about how you're learning how to pastor a mob and how you're keeping your heart engaged despite everything that's going on. Leave a comment.